My damn phobia. I knew it was all mental, but it felt physical. The nausea, the racing heart, the paralyzing fear that turned my limbs into useless, frozen things. On the bright side, at least I wasn't afraid of rain. Oceans and lakes and pools. I could avoid bad rain. Yeah, that would have been bad. It wasn't sure how long I had led in the tiny bus shelter, cursing my lack of foresight when I turned down the Graysons, offered to drive me back to town after our shot. I hadn't wanted the inconvenience them and thought I could call an Uber and be back and Tyres campus in half an hour. But the skis opened up right after the couple left and, well, here I was. It was getting dark. Matted grays mingled with the cool blues of twilight, and part of me worried the mysterious. He wouldn't show up. But Josh had never let me down. If one of these friends failed to pick me up like he'd asked, they wouldn't have working legs tomorrow. Josh was a med student, but he had zero compunction about using violence when the situation called for it, especially when the situation involved me. The bright beam of headlights slashed through the rain. I squinted, my heart tripping in both anticipation and awareness as I weighed the odds of whether the car belonged to my ride or a potential psycho. This part of Maryland was pretty safe, but you never knew. When my eyes adjusted to the light, I slumped with relief only to stiffen again 2 seconds later. Good news, I recognized the sleek, black Aston Martin pulling up toward me. It belonged to one of Josh's friends, which meant I wouldn't end up a local news item tonight. Bad news, the person driving said Aston Martin was the last person I wanted, or expected to pick me up. He wasn't, and I'll do my buddy a favor and rescue his stranded little sister, kinda guy. He was a look at me wrong and I'll destroy you and everyone you care about kinda guy. And head to it looking so calm and gorgeous, you wouldn't notice your world burning down around you until you were already a heap of ashes at his Tom Ford-clad feet. I swept the tip of my tongue over my dry lips as the car stopped in front of me and the passenger window rolled down. Get in. He didn't raise his voice. He never raised his voice, but I still heard him loud and clear over the rain. Alex Volkov was a force of nature unto himself, and I imagine even the weather bowed to him. I hope you're not waiting for me to open the door for you, he said when I didn't move. He sounded as happy as I was about the situation. What a gentleman. I pressed my lips together and beat back a sarcastic reply as I roused myself from the bench and I ducked into the car. It smelled cool and expensive, like spicy cologne and fine Italian leather. I didn't have a towel or anything to place on the seat beneath me, so all I could do was pray I didn't damage the expensive interior. Thanks for picking me up. I appreciate it, I said in an attempt to break the ice silence. I failed miserably. Alex didn't respond or even look at me as he navigated the twists and curves of his slick roads leading back to campus. He drove the same way he walked, talked and breathed, steady and controlled with undercurrent of danger warning too foolish enough to contemplate crossing him. Doing so would be their death sentence. He was the exact opposite of Josh, and I still marveled at the fact that they were best friends. Personally, I thought Alex was no asshole. I was sure he had his reasons, some kind of psychological trauma which shaped him into the unfeeling robot he was today. Based on the snippets I'd gleaned from Josh, Alex's childhood had been even worse than ours. Thought I never managed to pull the details out of my brother. All I knew was Alex's parents he died when he was young and left him for a pile of money. Had quadrupled the value of when he came into his inheritance at age 18. Not that he'd need to because he'd invented a new financial modeling software in high school that made him a multimillionaire before he could vote. With an IQ of 160, Alex Volko was a genius, or close to it. He was the only person in Tire's history to complete its 5-year joint undergrad MBA program in 3 years, and at age 26, he was the CEO of one of the most successful real estate development companies in the country. He was a legend, and he knew it. Meanwhile, I thought I was doing well if I remembered to eat while juggling my classes, extracurriculars and 2 jobs, front desk duty in the McCann Gallery, and my side hustle as a photographer for anyone who would hire me. Graduation, engagements, dogs, birthdays party, I did them all. Are you going to Josh's party? I tried again to make small talk. The silence was killing me. Alex and Josh had been the best friends since they roomed together at Tire 8 years ago, and Alexa had joined my family for Thanksgiving and assorted holidays every year since, but I still didn't know him. Alex and I didn't talk unless it had to do with Josh or passing the potatoes at dinner or something. Yes, okay then. Guess small talk was out. My mind wandered toward the million things I had to do the weekend. Edit the photos from the Grayson's shoot and work on my application for the World Youth Photography Fellowship. Help Josh finish packing after. Crap. I'd forgotten all about Josh's cake. I'd ordered it 2 weeks ago because that was the max lead time for something from Crumble and Bake. It was Josh's favorite dessert, a 3-layer dark chocolate frosted with fudge and filled with chocolate pudding. He only indulged on his birthday, but since he was leaving the country for a year, I figured he could break his once-a-year rule. So, I pasted the biggest, brightest smile on my face. Don't kill me, but we need to make a detour to Crumble Bake. No, we're already late. Alex stopped at the red light. We'd made it back to civilization, and I spotted the blurred outlines of a Starbucks and the Panera through the rain-splattered glass. My smile didn't budge. It's small detour. I'd taken 15 minutes max. I just need to run in and pick up Josh's cake. You know, the death by chocolate he likes so much. He'll be in Central America for a year. They don't have CNB down there, and he lives into 2 days, so... Stop. Alex's fingers curled around the steering wheel and my crazy hormonal mind latched onto how beautiful they were. That might sound crazy because he was beautiful fingers, but he did. Physically, everything about him was beautiful. The jade green eyes that glared out from beneath dark brow like chips hewn from a glacier. The sharp jawline and elegant, sculpted cheekbones. The lean frame and thick, light brown hair that somehow looked both tushled and perfectly coiffed. He resembled a statue in an Italian museum come to life. The insane urge to ruffle his hair like I would a kid's grip at me, just so he'd stop looking so perfect, which was quite irritating to the rest of us mere mortals. But I didn't have a death wish, so I kept my hands planted in my lap. If I take you to Crumble Bake, will you stop talking? No doubt he regretted picking me up. My smile grew. If you want. His lips tightened. Fine. Yes. Eva Chan 1, Alex Volko 0.